Today on The Young and the Restless, Mariah and Tessa take Aria to get her hearing aids. Nick reveals Adam's plan and Victor summons his family to the office. At Crimson Lights, Sharon notes it's a big day for Mariah, Tessa, and Aria. She senses they're apprehensive. Maria says they've been on pins and needles waiting for the hearing aids to come in, and now that they're here, they're terrified they won't work. Sharon recaps how brave they've been. She can understand them being afraid, but they should let themselves feel hopeful too. Tessa worries what if Aria doesn't like the hearing aids. Sharon soothes that she'll get used to them. Maria frets that she might grow up feeling different. Sharon reassures her and says she found dolls online with hearing aids. There are lots of kids and parents in the same boat. Find that community for Aria and yourselves. Maria says their biggest fear is what if it doesn't work. Sharon reminds them the doctor said this condition resolves with hearing aids. Tessa and Maria still can't shake the fear. Sharon understands and assures them things will only get better. Tessa and Maria anticipate her hearing their voices for the first time. Maria and Tessa decide to leave and will update Sharon soon. In her office, Nikki thinks about Victoria's anger about her not telling her Victor was faking. She recalls telling her kids that it's all Adam's fault that Victor can't trust anyone. Claire appears and speaks to Nikki, who doesn't hear her question. Claire asks if everything is okay. Nikki shrugs that she's having family issues. She and Victor had a disagreement about how to handle something. It will be fine. I appreciate your concern. Claire apologizes if it sounded like she was prying and returns to her desk after saying, I'm always available to listen. At the club, Adam hopes Nick will let the doctor do what he came to do. Nick crabs about some random doctor assessing their father's mental competence. They'd bicker about Adam not giving his brother any reason to trust him. Adam reminds him he gave Faith a kidney and took a bullet for their dad. He may be a judgmental maniac, but he won't let his father slip away without a fight. Nick and Adam go over how the doctor will assess their father without him knowing it. Adam figures he can pull it off. Nick finds it unethical. Adam argues, our father would never agree to a test on his own. He begs Nick to go along with it. He can hang him out to dry later. At Newman, Victoria brings Victor a shipping contract. It's not a good deal. Daddy, I'm sorry, it's not. The numbers aren't there, and this isn't normally a deal he would endorse, she explains. Victor fumes. Are you saying I'm not fit to run my own company? Victoria insists she just needs clarification. Victor announces he's going to meet Adam at the club to discuss the Kirsten/Newman media merger. She's about to tell him that it didn't happen when Nate interrupts. He offers to drive Victor to the club, and the mustache becomes upset. He has his own driver. With that, he walks out and boards the elevator smirking. At the club, Nick warns Adam this is really going to piss their dad off. Adam invites him to leave if he wants. Nick's sticking around because he doesn't trust him. Victor arrives and Nick flashes to confronting him in his office with Victoria. Victor pulls up a chair and chortles about his sons working together to build a powerful new media empire. Adam begins, I think you're forgetting. Nick blurts, Dad, this has to stop. It has to stop right now. A devastating side-by-side comparison of Hamas and ISI's hostages. At Newman, Nate and Victoria bicker about what to do about Victor. Victoria worries Adam will manipulate their father and make the company more vulnerable than ever. Nate has to tell her something. She wants to get to the club, but he says it's important. Nate promised Victor that he wouldn't tell anyone, but he realizes this shouldn't be a secret from her. Victor confided in him that he fears something is terribly wrong with him. He asked for my help, discreetly of course, to find out what's going on. Nate agreed and will do whatever he can. Victoria can't believe he considered not telling her this. Nate says they only just discussed this, and Victor asked him not to tell anyone. I don't want secrets between us. Nate says that he advised Victor to go away to a clinic. Victoria gawps, you mean to put him away? Nate says it's not like that. He just can't see anyone here or it would create gossip, which would be horrible for him and the company. Victoria asks if he knows a place. Nate knows some top specialists. He'd have to go for a week or maybe a little longer. Victoria asks if her father was on board. Nate made it clear it has to be his call. While he's away, we can say he's on an extended business trip or a well-deserved vacation, and you can step in as interim CEO. Victoria asks, that's where you left it. Nate says Victor wanted to meet with Adam before making his decision. Victoria storms out. At the club, Nick tells Victor, "You need help. Your memory is failing. Your grasp of reality is not good. Your ability to make those brilliant business decisions that you've always been known for, it's just, there's something clearly wrong and it's getting worse." Adam looks on in horror as Nick informs their father that Adam asked him to meet him there so he could stage an accidental meeting with a psychiatrist to get a diagnosis. Victor asks, "Is that true?" Adam, throwing Nick a "what?" look, explains he was trying to understand what's going on with him. "You've been confused lately, Dad." Victor sniffs, "The hell I have." Adam insists it's true and he was concerned. "I want to help you." He knew if he asked him to meet with a specialist he'd refuse. Victor doesn't need anyone to help him. "The fact that you tried to trick me tells me everything I need to know." He stands up to leave as Victoria walks in. He fumes. "Do you have something to say about your father as well, is that it?" At Dr. George's office, she joins Maria and Tessa and recaps that it's only been a few weeks since Arya was diagnosed with sensorineural hearing loss and the hearing aids were ordered. She's sure it felt longer to them. They agree it did. The doctor declares, "Let's help Arya start hearing the world around her, shall we?" The woman explains that she'll have to test the hearing aids and give them tips for keeping them in as some kids try to rip them out. They'll put them in for short periods of time at first. Once the hearing aids are in, Maria says Arya's name, as does Tessa. She doesn't seem to react. Tessa kneels down and sings. Maria speaks and Arya looks at her. Soon, they're beaming. Dr. George smiles. At Newman, Nate runs into Claire by the elevators and notices she looks a little stressed. Is Nikki piling on the work? Claire says no, she's a great boss. Nate asks, why the expression? Claire claimed she's a type of personality and she wants to be the best. She tries to anticipate Nikki's need and isn't always sure she's doing the right thing. She may have pushed too hard asking personal questions. Nate is sure it's fine. Claire notices he's mastered the art of being at Newman without being the Newman. Maybe we could get together outside of the office and you could give me some pointers. At the club, Adam wonders if Nick and Victoria planned this to ambush him in front of their dad. Victoria wants to go talk about this at the ranch, but Victor orders them all back to the office. Now, they file out. At Newman, Nate tells Claire the Newmans are private and protect their own. Their way can take some getting used to, but it's not personal. They've dealt with a lot of threats over the years. Claire just wants Nikki to trust her as much as possible. Nate suggests if her instincts are telling her to back off, she should listen. Beyond that, he's not the right person to give her more advice. Relenting, he says, maybe we can grab some coffee sometime soon. Claire would like that very much. At Crimson Lights, Sharon hands Claire a beverage and guesses it's for Nikki. Claire asks if she knows her well. Sharon smiles, you could say that. Claire's phone rings and she steps out to the patio to take the call. She answers by saying, Aunt Jordan? Yes, I understand. I just thought I'd have more time, but I'm making progress. Of course I will. Consider it done. I love you too. Inside, Maria and Tessa return with Arya and their good news. Say hello to your granddaughter. Sharon says she never had a doubt the hearing aids would be successful, but she was prepared just in case. She says grandmother in sign language and smiles. At Newman in Victor's office, Victoria says she's been worried about him for quite a while now. None of this has been fun for her. Nick tells him they're all there for him and will get him the help he needs. Nate and Nikki arrive, having been summoned. Victor announces, the time has come to tell you all the truth.